Hi, it's Fook. It's Tuesday, June 1st, 2021, and I just got through celebrating Memorial Day and had a great weekend, so I hope that you did as well. This is the monthly portfolio update, although I did skip the end of April update, only because, there wasn't a whole lot going on. So we'll get into what the portfolio looks like, what it's doing, and some thoughts that I have going forward. So I think that, there are enough small changes that I'm making that I kind of want to give an update for this month. So year to date, we're almost through half the year, and my portfolio is up 15.6%, and that's compared to the S&P 500 that's up 12.6. So between the end of March and the end of May, the S&P 500 has caught up, but I'm still doing pretty good in comparison, especially when I'm holding such a large cash position that I'm just really happy where I am midway through the year or almost midway through the year. So, in terms of just sector allocation from a big picture standpoint, I still have a pretty big cash balance. It's roughly 16% of my holdings. And then other large holdings include technology, that's going to be Microsoft. I have a big holding in energy through the XLE ETF for the energy sector. And then consumer staples with British American Tobacco continues to make up my big holdings in the portfolio. So in terms of those individual holdings, BTI, which is British American Tobacco, is at 20%. Microsoft is at 15%, and then XLE is at 24%. Now, XLE has grown quite a bit since the last update, and that's why it's sitting at 24%. It's really doing gangbuster since I picked it up. I am getting a little bit worried because the price is at, I think, $55 a share today. And I was thinking that if it hits 65, I'm probably going to get out, even though my dividend on cost is pretty good. So I have a decision to make if it hits my price target. Maybe I'll just reduce the holding and not get out of it completely. But those are kind of big picture. So, what are the changes that I'm slowly making into my portfolio as I go forward? Well, one of the big ones is that I am going to hold on to my rather large cash position. So, it's not as big as it was previously, where it was over 20%, but 16% is still pretty big. And there's always this concern about a cash drag. But I like where I am, so I think I'm going to maintain it. Part of the reason is that as I get closer to pulling the trigger on Fat Fire, I'm looking at dividing, my portfolio into three buckets where I have cash for the first 3 years, not just the first 3 years, but cash for anything that I need within 3 years, a smaller part for 3 to 5 years, and then the rest 6 to whatever, and that'll be a big part of the portfolio. So as I get closer, I do want to have maybe 10% of my portfolio in cash anyways. So I don't think that it's going to be a big deal to hold, 15 or 16%. The other reason is just having it as dry powder, just in case, we see a correction and I want to have money to kind of buy into the market and make strategic buys. So that's one of the first conclusions that I came in because for a while I was a little bit concerned about holding that much cash and how much of a drag it would be on the portfolio. Second change is that I am increasing my holdings in gold and long-term bonds slowly over time. So for the long term, I would like to increase my gold holding to between 5 to 10% of the portfolio. And in terms of long-term bonds, it's going to be 10 to 15% to start, but upwards of 30% as I get to my Fat Fire goal. And a large part of that is just kind of rotating out of these individual stocks that I'm holding into ETFs and mutual funds, but also more of a kind of risk parity style where I'm building the portfolio based on individual securities and their risk contribution to the portfolio rather than try to diversify just across stocks and bonds or something. So I want to have some gold in there as well, and that's going to hold me over for the very long term. So I'll share what that portfolio looks like and what I'm thinking, but I'm not quite ready yet. It's pretty simple. I think there's only like 4 assets in it, but I'll put that up. It's not going to be a surprise to anyone who's studied things like golden butterfly or permanent portfolio or all weather portfolio, things like that. But I'm slowly making my way to that. So right now, gold and long-term treasuries are just 1% of the portfolio each. Not significant at all, but it's slowly moving. The other thing that I'm doing is that I've added some cryptocurrency to my portfolio, and it's almost nothing to start. I mean, it's less than 0.1%. But I do see that that is an alternative asset that may be worth putting a very small amount of my net worth into. So long term, what do I want to do with crypto? I'm thinking that I want to get no more than maybe 3 to 4% maximum. But the way that I'm accumulating it is a bit odd. So what I did was I bought 6 computers, brand new. I think I paid about $875 a piece for these computers, and that's with tax and shipping and everything. And they come with pretty fast graphics card, NVIDIA, what was it, 2060, RTX 2060 Supers or something like that. And I'm basically mining Bitcoins with them. Technically, I'm mining Ethereum, but paid out in Bitcoins, and then I'm just holding them. This works out for me because the way I calculate it is that my computers are drawing about 150 watts each. I don't run a monitor with them. They're just plugged in and they run by themselves. So 150 watts each, 6 computers. We're looking at under 1,000 watts, and I have a huge solar system. So electricity is basically free. So anything that I mine is pure profit. I mean, I do have to pay taxes on them. And unfortunately, they are taxed at the price of Bitcoins as I earn them. So whether they go up or down, I pay on the full price, but later down the road, they will become my basis for cost. And if I sell them, I'll either have a capital gain or a capital loss. But that's what I'm planning to do with my cryptocurrency. And over time, I'll just continue to build that up. And God knows when I'm going to get to, 3 or 4%. The way that I'm looking at the run rate right now is that I'm probably going to earn anywhere from, call it 6 to 7,000 a year on the low end, based on recent cryptocurrency prices of 36,000 a coin, upwards of 13 to 15,000 a year. So if I do that, it's going to take me, almost a decade to get to 3-4% of my net worth. But whatever, we'll just let that run and see what happens. The thinking is that rather than put cold hard cash into crypto directly, if I buy these computers, I can always just take the graphics card out of them and sell them on eBay or Craigslist and still get kind of whatever I end up getting for them. And I probably wouldn't even lose money selling them on the secondary market to gamers or other miners. So that's the thinking. And with current prices, even though they're depressed, I'm estimating that I would make back my capital investment on the computer in 9 to 10 months. So that's not bad at all. So anyways, that's the update for this month. I will try to give other updates as they come up, or if I make other changes to the portfolio. But those are the big moves. So thanks for watching, and check back for future updates. Later.